Now that students, we have already seen what are ionic compounds. Now let's understand something more about ionic compounds. Now let's discuss about properties of ionic compound. What are the different properties like your melting point, boiling point, etc. and etc. So let's start with it. So first of all, in ionic compound, let's talk about physical state. Now, most of your ionic compound, obviously they exist in the solid state, just like your sodium chloride, correct? So your ionic compounds, we can say that your ionic compounds, okay, look over here, your ionic compound, they exist in a solid state. They exist in a solid state, forming a 3D lattice. What do you mean by 3D lattice? That is, they have arrangement, a 3D arrangement of the structure of any compound or ionic compound. Now, for example, on your screen, you can see the example of sodium chloride, that is Na plus and Cl minus, where Na plus is given by your white circles, correct? And your Cl minus are provided with the dark circles, that is black circles. You can see all Na plus, okay, let me consider the middle Na plus. This Na plus, correct, is attached or is surrounded by chloride ions. If you see over here, this is one chloride, this is second chloride, third chloride, fourth chloride, this is your fifth chloride, this is your sixth chloride. So this is surrounded by other chloride ions. So such structures, okay, are known as your 3D lattice structure. Okay, now let's move ahead. Now that you have understood physical state, now your ionic compounds, you know, they exist in a solid state. Now let's talk about melting and boiling points of such compounds. Okay, so obviously you know that ionic compounds are what? They are nothing but ions. So they are attached together by force of attraction, just like your NaCl or CaCl2. That positive ion is attracted to the negative ion by the charges which are opposite, correct? So we can say that due to high forces or due to high forces of attraction, okay, the melting point and boiling point of ionic solids is very high. Okay, so such questions do come in exam to give the order of melting point or boiling point, and you will be provided by different molecules. In that, you will be having some ionic compounds and you will be having covalent compounds. So always and always remember that your ionic compounds will always have higher melting or boiling point. Why? Because the force of attraction by which they have formed a bond, or the electrostatic force of attraction, is very high due to opposite charges. And hence, in your ionic compounds, your boiling point or melting point is very high. So certain melting point and boiling points are given to you on your screen. So let's look at that. If you look on your screen, you have cesium bromide, that is your CSBr. Obviously, it is an ionic compound, so melting point is your 636, boiling point is higher than that, that is your 1300 degrees Celsius. Here we are talking about degrees Celsius and not Kelvin. So these temperatures are really high. So similarly, you have sodium iodide with melting point 661 and boiling point 1304. Then you have magnesium chloride 714, 1412, and so on. You have potassium bromide, calcium chloride, sodium chloride, lithium fluoride, potassium fluoride, and magnesium oxide. So if you look the pattern, all of them have higher melting point and boiling point. All of the melting points are higher than 600 degrees Celsius. If you look carefully, the melting point, as we are seeing in this table, is increasing as you go down. The cesium bromide has the least, that is 636, and your magnesium oxide is high, that is up to 2852. Such high melting and boiling points are only observed in your ionic compounds.